Okay, we're going to make a double exposure project. And the way that we're going to do it is we're going to choose two different images and we're going to expose them. That's what I mean by double exposure. We're going to expose them at the same time. So you can see over here, I have an image of Billie Holiday, famous, amazing jazz musician, and a skyline of Philadelphia because she was born in Philadelphia. So I'm exposing both Philadelphia and Billie Holiday at the same time. Here's another example. Here's me, and I exposed an image of a keyboard at the same time. So let's see how I did this. I'm going to go up and go to File, Open, and I'm going to open the image I want to work on. So I'm going to do another one with my face. And the first thing I want to do is make a duplicate of the background layer. There's a couple ways I can do this. I can go up to Layer, Duplicate Layer, or I can right-click or control-click or use two fingers to click on the layer in order to show this menu and go to Duplicate Layer. There I go. And then I can label this one Original and maybe Portrait. Okay. I'm going to work on the portrait layer. I'm going to keep this original layer totally intact, but I'll just hide it for now. I want to now make a selection around myself so that I can take a mask and put it over the background. So there are all different selection tools we know that we can use. We have the rectangle selection tool, the ellipse selection tool. We have the lasso, polygonal lasso, magnetic lasso, and we have the magic wand, quick selection, object selection. There's no wrong answer here as to which selection tool you're going to use, but different scenarios are going to work better for different images are going to work. You're going to need different selection tools. I'm going to show you the lasso just because I think for this project, it's not a terrible choice. So I'm going to lasso all around myself. And the reason I'm not super concerned about the edge is I'll show you. I'm going to go ahead and put let me get out of full screen for a moment. I'm going to put my mask on. And what I can do is I can edit this mask. I want to make sure I don't want to be clicked on the layer. Instead, I want to be clicked on the mask right here. And now I can take my brush. I change the hardness so it's nice and soft. I'm going to paint with black. Black conceals. I'm going to take away this harsh edge. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. And I think it'll work nicely for our end result. Cut off a little of my shoulder. Let's say I went too far. White reveals, so I can bring it back. Switch to black. Boom, there we go. Okay, so now that I've done that, I want to do a couple things to edit this photo. And I'm going to first turn it black and white, and then I'm also going to play with the contrast and the brightness of the photo. So I'm going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and I'm going to hit black and white and press OK. Oh, see what happened? I was clicked on the mask and not the photo itself. Let's try again. There we go. Okay, now I have black and white. So my mistake was that I was clicked over here on the mask and not on the photo. All right, so now I'm going to go to Adjustments, and let's look at brightness and contrast. I'm going to pump the brightness up, but I'm also going to pump up the contrast. I want to find a balance between making those lights really light and the darks really dark. So I can sort of play around with this until I get something that has a lot of good contrast. Then I'm going to press OK. Now I'm going to take the photo that I want to double expose, And I'm going to choose this one that I took last night of my backyard. And actually, I took the photo because, like, what animal made these tracks in the snow? If you can look that up, that would be super fun to know. Okay, so, but I happened to catch this kind of nice sunset tree situation in the background. So why not double expose it? I want to capture more of the trees in my face than the snow here. And one thing I can do to sort of preview is I can lower the opacity and I can preview, okay, where do I want this photo? What size does it need to be? Remember, I'm holding down Shift as I'm enlarging it. What size does it need to be and where do I want it? Okay, that doesn't look terrible. Maybe I'll actually bring it up. Yeah, that doesn't look terrible. All right, I'm going to bring this back up to 100%. And what I want is I want this photo, the backyard photo, to only be inside of my portrait. So I'm going to create what's called a clipping mask. And I'm going to do that by right-clicking or control-clicking or double finger clicking on the photo that you want to create the clipping mask. And I'm going to go down to clipping mask. And now this photo is only inside the area of the photo underneath it. And look, do you see this little arrow down? It's saying I'm clipping down to this layer right below. So the order has to be correct here. They have to be right on top of each other in order for that to work. Okay, so I have that clipping mask and now I can play around with the opacity. And there we go. I have two photos exposed at the same time. Let's look at also adding in a background. So I'm going to add a new layer and I'm going to put it on the bottom. And I'm going to choose this adjustment layer button here. And I'm going to color fill it with, let's see what it looks like with white. It's not bad. Or I could even choose like this yellow color that's in the image. I can also keep playing around with the mask that I made. And I can edit the mask even while I'm in this mode. So maybe I want to reveal more of this image around my head. And one cool thing that I can do is if I paint with gray, instead of painting with black and white, I can bring some of this back. I don't love that. Let me do that again with a little less opacity. Right? Like that could be really cool. Let me try it. So there's all kinds of things that you can do here and combinations of images that you can choose to play around with this double exposure. You also don't have to have the portrait be in black and white, but I think that they look really successful when you do that. But the main things that we looked at were selections, masks, clipping masks, and playing around with opacity. So I can't wait to see what you create and what you come up with.